The announcement the whole world has been waiting for is almost here. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a big development concerning the takeover of Manchester United, the biggest football club in the world. The latest that is just coming in just minutes ago suggests that this week the announcement is going to be made, and it looks like the ball has swiftly and quickly shifted into the hands of Sheikh Jassim. That is the latest report coming through. It's a big development that has come in as the world continues to wait for who is going to be the next owner of Manchester United, or at least for the Glazers to finally say something. Now, it has been a torrid series of events happening since November when the Glazers did put up Manchester United up for sale. Two bids have been leading. One from Ineos, that is the CEO of Ineos, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, the richest man in the UK, has been in a battle against a little known Sheikh Jassim, who, by the way, in one of our previous videos I showed you who he is, a bit of who he is, what's known about him and his net worth and his sources of money. But let's first stick to the story for now, that the announcement we've always been waiting for is finally soon going to be coming. The pressure that has been mounted by both parties has seemed to yield something, because just recently we heard that the Glazers had called the PSG president, that is Nasser Al-Khelaifi, trying to get him to convince the family of the Sheikh Jassim to increase his bid of $6.5 billion to the valued price that they do price the club at, of £6 billion. Well, I did tell you that I feel it's a question of when, not if. I think they'll probably meet the bid. There is a huge development now, and I think things are happening. It is said from the report that has just come out that both parties have been finalizing their bids, putting them together, making final touches to them, but it has been again reported that the Sheikh Jassim bid seems to have taken the lead now. Remember, in the past couple of weeks it was Sir Jim Ratcliffe's bid that was in the lead, but the 100% bid by Sheikh Jassim has got the Glazers wanting to talk. And this week, not later than this week, that has started today on Sunday, we are going to be getting a proper clear announcement. Keep subscribe, turn on the notification button, because you don't want to miss when that news is finally broken. It will be broken here on the hotspot, and certainly you've got to be among the first person to hear it. We've been waiting for this for such a long time. Now remember, just to take you a little bit back, just on Wednesday last week, Sheikh Jassim tabled what he called his final bid. It was his fifth bid for Manchester United, increasing it a little to 65 billion US dollars. That was the final, he said, and he said he was not going to be going into any further negotiations. It was the take it or leave it. First, he had set a deadline for Friday last week for them to respond to him, and if not, he was going to pull out of trying to buy the club. But he was convinced to, be patient, table your bid, and sit back and wait for feedback from the Glazers. So certainly that showed that the Glazers have been assessing Sheikh Jassim's bid. That's why they're picking up phone calls, looking through their phone books and trying to find who can advise, who can come in and try to advise Sheikh Jassim to try and increase and meet the valuation the Glazers have of the club. Well, that's when they called Nasser Al-Khelaifi, who, by the way, seemed to want to deny having been involved in this bidding process. But I think me and you now would surely know what certainly it would mean. I think Khelaifi is certainly been involved in this, because this is a bid for Qatar. It's not just about Sheikh Jassim, even if he does say that he's the only independent interested party in buying Manchester United, his long-time term club, the club he has supported since he was a child. Now, it's taking a good positive development. I know most of you would be interested in seeing that man, Sheikh Jassim, taking ownership of Manchester United. Well, it is a good development for you now, because as it looks now, it seems his bid is in the lead. His bid seems to be in the lead. And I want to take you just a little back to remind you of what his bid is made of, what he's putting on table. He's saying that he wants to, first of all, pay 6.5 billion US dollars for the club, but he wants to clear the debt of Manchester United that the Glazers have landed the club into for the years they have been in charge since 2005, when they took full ownership of the club, as they actually took over the club from borrowed money, with the club's assets used as the collateral for the money they borrowed. So it's a mess, it's a tight mess that Manchester United has been in with the Glazers, and here they are almost coming out with an announcement on what exactly they are going with, which bid, which offer are they taking. But the biggest offer on table is this one from this man, Sheikh Jassim. That's the offer right there. That was his final bid. Those are the details, saying that he wants to clear all debt, redevelop Old Trafford and Carrington and the neighborhood, and recruiting new players for the team, which has been a department lacking. By their own admission, as the Glazers, they did admit to financial struggle. Glazers sent a silent message to Old Trafford and to the club, telling them that there is not so much money for them to spend during the transfer. So clearly, they needed this bid to come in and save them. And I think they have got proper into their senses, and they are now considering coming out and making a proper pronouncement. This is the hot spot. My name is Webb. The latest development coming through is what we are talking about concerning this bid to buy Manchester United. The Glazers have said something. They have spoken. And this week, they will be making an announcement. That's the latest coming through. That's what is just happening as we do speak now. It's an interesting situation. I think it puts to bed a lot of things. Many people have been worried for the longest time about what exactly is going to happen with United, with the transfer window fast approaching. That is slated to take place or to open on the 14th of June, with certain clubs already signing players. The likes of Liverpool, they've already signed McAllister from Brighton. Clubs are doing their business. We've seen Aston Villa in Birmingham announce the signing of Telsmans. That is today. United have been lagging behind because they don't know what to do. There is no guarantee of money. Already there is confusion. United is right now interested in signing a couple of players, the latest being the youngster from Eintracht Frankfurt, the French 24-year-old Rando Kolo Muani, the striker, who is, by the way, looked at as one of the other options should United fail to find to sign their preferred signings. Now, they have been struggling to find money, but the Glazers, who own the club, clearly admit they don't have the money. But this is a player United wants to sign. The transfers are fast approaching. Other clubs are serious. Arsenal are in advanced stages of finishing the deal for Declan Rice. Mason Mount's situation has still been unclear. United were contemplating making a bid to Chelsea. It is not official yet if they did go ahead and table the bid, because again, like I told you, there are concerns about the money. So United is not sure. They are unsure. Ten Hag knows what he wants to do. He knows the players he wants, but the lack of communication has been impeding his moves and his progress. Yet other clubs are already moving fast. So this young man, who is valued at 65 million euros, is one of those that Ten Hag has been looking at. The Eintracht Frankfurt player, he's to many considered as the next Thierry Henry, and not because he's French, but because of his style of play. He's an industrious player. He's a forward, but he loves running around and being involved in play, picking up the ball from the center of the park and out wide and dribbling it, and of course good at tap-ins. He's got a very interesting electric pace. He's a good player. He's not world class yet because he's young, but he's a promising player. No wonder Bayern Munich and now Paris Saint-Germain have been interested in him. So United is saying, if we are going to have a chance to sign players like this and convince them to join us, we have got to be sure if we have the money or not. But the Glazers have been silent. So it has been leaving the club in a difficult situation, a quite difficult situation. So that's why transfers and decisions have been slow. Nothing has been happening, yet other clubs are moving. So this development of the Glazers finally coming out to state that they are going to be making an announcement is something that is so timely. So United now might come down and start concentrating on making the right signings, because this organization can even cause the coach to make the wrong decisions, going for cheaper options of players, yet they are more preferred main options. So it's a tight situation the club has been, and I think now they have succumbed to the pressure from the fans, from Sheikh Jassim, but also there were reports that Sir Jim Ratcliffe as well was getting increasingly frustrated, and they were actually planning to go legal. There was going to be a legal battle concerning this, because these are serious men, businessmen. You don't waste their time. If you're not willing to sell, you say it. You don't put up the club for sale. It's not a game, and you're not communicating. So it was becoming a huge legal battle, and the pressure was increasingly mounting. So guys out there, Manchester United supporters, I want to say you've got a huge hand to play in this, because the pressure you did mount onto the Glazers is what is yielding this progress. This is huge, significant progress. You might undermine what this means, but the fact that it is now known that this week we will be knowing the proper status of the club is huge. It's huge. It lifts the pressure off the club itself and all staff of the club, the players, the manager most importantly, but also it does now start to arouse the interest of players who have been poached or courted by Manchester United. Because before, who would want to get into this uncertainty? No one would want to get into this uncertainty. Probably certain deals would have been done had there been clarity on who the owners of the club are. So for now, that's where we are. The update, is that of course more reports do continue to fly in. We are still continuing to follow this story closely to see what exactly is happening. There is, of course, you can fall into the comment section. There is a gentleman called Robinson Francis who is asking any transfer updates on Manchester United. Yes, I just told you one in case you've just joined. Robinson, thank you for that comment. Well, Manchester United right now, the latest is they are contemplating bidding for this 24-year-old forward from Eintracht Frankfurt, that is in Germany. Those are reports coming through from Germany. He is the latest they have pointed at. He is a 24-year-old forward who is rated so highly. Even the French coach Didier Deschamps was speaking highly about him after the World Cup, talking about how he's the future of football. He's a brilliant striker. Many in France and the world who have watched him do liken him to the great Thierry Henry because of his style. The question is would his style fit into Manchester United? I think so, considering the fact that both the players who play wide, wide of the center forward are players who love to go for goal as well. If you talk about Anthony Dos Santos, if you talk about Marcus Rashford, they both love to get the ball and curl in and go for goal. They are not the kind of players you think they are playing for a particular striker or for the final for the number 9. So a player like this one would come in and mix into the play, and I think that would form a good front three for Manchester United. He's pacey, he comes back and drops, to pick the ball, and good with dribbling. He's a lot pacey. He's a good finisher as well. So I think it would suit the Manchester United style. He's not there yet. Like I said, he's 24, still young, growing in experience, but he's certainly a brilliant, promising footballer. And he is one that has attracted the interest of clubs, including Bayern Munich, who are looking for a world-class striker as well to sign, because they're also in a rebuilding process right now. They do want a world-class striker. They have pointed at him. But most recently now, and shockingly, and perhaps the more worry to have, is that PSG as well are looking at him. So that's how highly rated this young player is. And PSG, remember, have lost Lionel Messi, who is joining Inter Miami, but they are also at the verge of losing Neymar Jr. Neymar has, I think, the whole PSG project has not worked out, and that's why most of these players have, and the fans perhaps are frustrated with how much money they are paid and all, and the fun they bring. Of course, they will never be tired of their own Mbappe, but Neymar and Lionel Messi have not exactly been happy at PSG. Neither have the fans. So it is also reported that Neymar wants to leave PSG, but he says the only destination for him would be Manchester United. Those are reports that came through earlier on. Whether Man United would go ahead and sign Neymar, I don't exactly feel he would add much to Manchester United in terms of play. I think he would, being a big star, he would disorganize a bit of what Ten Hag is building. But of course, Neymar is a big player. He would sell jerseys. He would bring the attention to Man United, and that's what Man United is known for. So that's a bit of the update concerning Manchester United in terms of transfers. That's a bit of what's happening. But there is also, of course, proper talks that United are in advanced stages to sign the Napoli centre-back, that is Kim Min-jae. Of course, they are still looking. The only thing holding back United now, like I told you, is this. That's why this is an important development in this time of the window, when it's just about to start. The only thing that has been holding Man United is the lack of clarity on how much money they will have to spend during the transfers and when they will have it available for them to make clear approaches. So that's the only thing. But in terms of players they have wanted, United has also spoken before about signing Axel Disasi, who is the centre back and right back, and plays the right back as well for AS Monaco. He's a Frenchman. He was in the World Cup as well. 25 years of age. That's the ripe age for a defender. So they're also looking at him. But it is said now that they're also clearly looking at losing certain players. Of course, Harry Maguire is top of the list. He was pitted. He was pitted to be joining Tottenham Hotspur, but according to latest reports, Harry Maguire doesn't want to leave. He wants to stay back at Manchester United. Perhaps he's trying to force through a situation where United might have to pay him to leave, because that's one of the last options in his contract. That should he not find a club that he feels suitable for him, United and United want to let go of him, they can pay him at least £10 million and let go of him. And that's an option that it is believed United are willing to explore. And of course, depending on how much money they have, certainly if Sheikh Jassim's money came in, I think that would make sense. They wouldn't mind, spending that. Anything to lose Maguire, I believe, would be welcome to United supporters. But painfully, though, is that talking about just a little, taking you back on Randall Kolo Muani, the Eintracht Frankfurt player. It is also said that apparently Frankfurt are interested in Victor Lindelof. Now, Lindelof, remember, is a proper complete backup defender for Man United, and he has been good with the injuries Varane and Lisandro Martinez have had over the season. You feel that he has come in ably and tried to deputize them properly. So he's probably a player you feel has improved a lot, and certainly the way they did to Diogo Dalot, he's one they should be looking at signing. But if he is the condition now, maybe some bit of cash and add on to sign Randall Kolo Muani, maybe it would disorganize a bit of United, because you don't solve one problem and create another. United is struggling now in the central defense position. Ten Hag made it clear he wanted to sign a player in that position. So it's again another interesting situation that's going on. But latest news coming through, guys, just to remind you again one more time, is that Manchester United are about to know who their owners are, and this week the Glazers are going to come out and make a proper announcement. Now, Robinson Francis is also saying again here, noted, but they can sign both Haaland and Kolo Muani. I went through the social media and saw something like this. Robinson is the takeover going to be announced tomorrow, or when will it be? It's going to be this week. So Robinson, just first answer about the takeover. The takeover, I think, the biggest development now. They are yet to set the exact date of when it's going to be announced, but it's this week. I do think actually it could be not later than tomorrow evening. I do think it could be. So that's why I'm saying set your notifications. Do subscribe to the channel if you haven't, because we are going to be on top of this story. We are going to be on top of it. But I do think it's going to be made sooner rather than later. For me, I think it will be made before 14th. And 14th is, I think, Wednesday this week. I think it should be made before 14th. The transfer window cannot open officially without Manchester United's ownership situation being cleared. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that would be disastrous for the club. I think it won't happen. And the way now they have raised the hope, if they have come out to make this statement and this report that they are going to be making an announcement this week, of course, certainly anyone in their right state of mind would hope and believe and think that it should be made before the opening of the transfer window. So I do think it is going to be made before Wednesday. That's the 14th, when the transfer window officially opens. But whether it is which day, the fact that it will be this week, I think is so important. I think it will save United from the pressure of trying to sign players late in the transfer window. That's terrible. It has before cost Manchester United a lot. You feel some of the signings that United made, for example, in the past window, the late signings were overpriced. Late signings always come at a cost. They are overpriced. And United, if they don't solve this at the start of the transfer window, we are prone to going into the same situation. Late signings are always overpriced, and they're always desperate. The better players always want to be respected. You come to them early, talk to them properly, present to them your plan, interest them in joining your team. That's the likes of Harry Kane. I believe Harry Kane is silent right now because it is known that he would be interested in joining Manchester United. But he's silent because, again, he's also monitoring the situation like you and I and everyone else. So I think it's been a bad thing what the Glazers have been doing. Heartless Glazers showing no concern and interest in the football like they have anyway all throughout their time as owners of the club. They have always cared about the money and the business, and that's why even now they are affecting a transfer window. What looks like a potentially fruitful transfer window is being affected by their greed, that they are waiting for someone to increase the money. They got the club in 2005 for £800 million, which they borrowed using the club's assets as collateral. In 2023, you're getting a £6.5 billion offer for the club, and you're still wasting time ahead of a transfer window, a serious transfer window. You're wasting time and still trying to buy time to milk out more money. How greedy can they be? So it's going to be good riddance. And thank you, Statwant Singh, who is posting and commenting here, is saying Glazers out. I think that is exactly what all United supporters should be praying for now, given the the bid that's on table, that is waiting their approval. I do think, going back to the bid, I do think the bid by the Glazers is rather the bid by the Sheikh Jassim is in a cruising lead, is in cruise control of this. I think this bid is going to go through. I think the situation with Nasser Al Khelaifi, I told you before in one of my recent videos when I was telling you about Nasser Al Khelaifi, how when the news was broken that he had something to do in this bidding, I told you this guy doesn't fail. I think he's one of the biggest negotiators in football, if not in the world. No wonder the positions he holds, not only in football, but back home in Qatar. He sits on big boards, so he's a top negotiator. So by the time he had a conversation with the Glazers, for me, I felt this was a step in the right direction. Sheikh Jassim is not so experienced in football. I think, you know, he's a banker who is a fan of Manchester United. He's passionate about the game. That's why he has not made direct contact himself with the Glazers, but he has got trying to get the right people around him. And it's been said there have been in advanced talks with the Glazers and the Rain Group that was contracted by the Glazers to handle the transfer, rather the sale or the takeover of Manchester United. Beautiful developments coming through, guys. Go on, and of course, let me know what you think. Of course, this gentleman, of course, Robinson Francis, still saying they can sign both Højlund and Kolo Muani. I went to show me, okay, yeah, it's a possibility, because remember, Erik ten Hag made it clear at the start of the window that Man United have always wanted to sign a first choice, first priority, I would call in this case A-class striker, and a second fiddle, a younger, not already there striker who would come in and probably learn from the senior striker and have two strikers, you know, competing in that starting position. The way you see Manchester City, they have got Erling Haaland and Julian Alvarez, both world-class strikers, but they play. You balance them as a coach. It's a good headache to have, and it's good. Each one gives the other competition. So it's a good thing, a situation to be in. Even Sir Alex Ferguson, for the years he was dominating English and global football, he always had two strikers. Ferguson always had even more. At times he had four strikers. I just gave you a history of how, you know, United won the treble in 1999, and United had, I think, about four strikers: Dwight York, I had Andy Cole, Teddy Sheringham, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, four strikers, and they all contributed to that treble. So it's always a good thing, because football is goals, and more so if you're a club that like Manchester United that doesn't have so many players, you know, bringing in the goals. Most goals for United, like last season, were scored by the player of the season, that is Marcus Rashford. So you think if you can have more strikers who can give you goals and different in terms of style, I think it's a plus. So that's what they are trying to do. So it's a possibility that they can sign Rasmus Højlund, who for me is not so expensive. He's priced at about £40 million. That's affordable. If United finally do get the money from Sheikh Jassim, they would have the luxury of buying too. So I think it can happen, Robinson, and I would love to see it happen. I think it would bring a certain better, more competitiveness at the club. But also, Muani, I feel, is they're invoking their third and fourth options. I think the first two options for United would have been, under different circumstances, were always going to be Harry Kane and Victor Osimhen. But now that it's clear that the two are probably not going to come there, they need to move fast. That's why they are going for their other two remaining options. That's Randal Kolo Muani, who is, I think, is rated a little higher than the man from Atalanta, Højlund, and of course Rasmus Højlund, with whom they is also believed they have been monitoring him with their agents, of course, their scouts in Italy. So it's possible that United can sign both strikers, and I think that would be a good thing for the club. It would be a brilliant thing to do, but all that will depend on how much money they have, and how much money they have will depend on how many players they sell, but also, most importantly, who owns the club. Remember, Sir Jim Ratcliffe's bid is owning about 51% of the club, and later on phase the Glazers out, keep them around for about 2 or 3 years and phase them out slowly. But he has not been clear on how much fund he's willing to put into buying new players. And again, that's one of the weaknesses and the loopholes we've seen in Sir Jim Ratcliffe's bid. But the man from Qatar, Sheikh Jassim, has been clear with his bid. He has given a proper breakdown of what his bid is like. And if you're just joining us, I can play it for you one more time, because I do have it here with me, that Sheikh Jassim's bid has been clear in terms of what exactly he wants to do with the club. He said he wants to he's tabling he wants to 100% takeover of the club. He's tabling 6.5 million US, or rather billion US dollars. Then money to renovate Old Trafford, money for player recruitment, money to renovate Carrington, the training facility, money to renovate its surrounding and develop the surroundings of the club, so that United can go back to hosting big games in Europe again, because United hasn't hosted any big games for a long time. So it's a proper bid. It will solve the problems. It's going to clear the debt, the entire debt that Manchester United has. That is exactly what United supporters want to hear. So I think it's a good thing, and I think I do know 99.9%. It might be the lead, the bid in control. It might be the winning bid. Of course, not that we would be happy if the Glazers took all that money, but I think the most importantly, I think we would be happy for the Glazers to go whichever way they go. To be honest, whereas I hate to say it, even if this week the announcement was made and the club is going to be sold to Sir Jim Ratcliffe, I think we would settle for that. It's not what we want. Quote me right. It's not what we want, but we would settle for that. I think we would settle for that. I think it would be okay. It would be better than nothing, but that's the bid that is said to be in cruise control, and that's the bid that would change football for Manchester United. Well, continue with those comments and let me know. Of course, Robinson is still saying he wants Maguire out. Well, Maguire is also wanted out by everyone, including his coach Erik ten Hag, except himself. He says he wants to stay and compete for places at the club. Eric Bailly is surely going to be going out. Scott McTominay was recently saying that he wanted to stay and doesn't care how many minutes he plays. Those are reports that came through, that he doesn't care how many minutes he gets, that he wanted to stay and compete for places. But I think that's a sign of a player without ambition. I think he should be heading out, and imminent reports suggest so, that he would be wanted by clubs like Everton and a few other clubs outside of England, in Spain and in Italy. Tuanzebe is another, and Fred, people are mixed in terms of whether Fred should go, but I think Fred's departure should solely depend on which players are coming in, because you don't want to clear your house out so much and so fast before you're sure of who is coming. But for players like Maguire and Eric Bailly, I think regardless of who is coming in or not, I think they've got to go. Anthony Martial, beautiful, talented player, but sadly his career he has been unlucky at United because he has been affected a lot by injuries, and he's not contributing to the club. He's not really giving us anything. So for me, I think he's one player they should sell for. Probably, I think if they're lucky, if he passes a medical, he can go for about between 20 and 30 million pounds. I think a club can pay that for him. So I think that would be okay. Weghorst is certainly not returning. He was on loan. He will be headed back to his former club, Walt Weghorst. Anthony Elanga is the other that Robinson Francis is saying should be headed out. Well, Elanga is a young boy. He's still unclear whether he will head out. I think his departure will depend on whether Mason Greenwood will be returning straight into the team. But I think Elanga might be staying around a little bit because he's a young player. You don't rule out such a very young player, so fast. Maybe he can be loaned out. Maybe I don't think Elanga should be sold. He can be loaned out. But that's what's happening. And there is more comments here. Oumo Moses saying that please Glazer family should go. Indeed, that's what everyone would prefer to see. The Glazer family should go. Probably everyone wants to hear one announcement being made that will be this week. Again, if you're just joining development, I'm reminding you that a new latest development has come concerning the ownership and takeover of Manchester United. The Glazers are set to make their final announcement on the ownership of the club this week. Remember, the transfers are about to open. They will be opening on the 14th of this month. That's on Wednesday, and certainly it's going to be an interesting time, more so if they start at a time when United's owners are known. So it is believed that the announcement is going to be made this week before the transfers are open. So it's going to be interesting, again, a situation. Erik ten Hag has been clear and consistent with his intentions in this window. He has made it clear that he wants to sign a couple of players, probably about 5 or 7. He wants a goalkeeper. Diogo Costa is in advanced talks. I spoke to you about Diogo Costa and how he's being handled by the same agency that has sold so many players to United, including the great Cristiano Ronaldo from Portugal, the same country that Diogo Costa comes from. So Diogo Costa's agent is George Mendes, the super agent, with his Gestifute agency, and certainly that's good news. And it is believed that he has been for a long time working behind the scenes with Manchester United to ensure that Diogo Costa is landed. He's priced at about 65 million euros, and that's money United are willing to pay, because one of the key areas United wants to correct is the goalkeeping department. David De Gea, it's yet to be confirmed whether he's going to be leaving because he did not want to agree to the new terms in the contract that was being offered. Remember, he was one of the club's topmost earners, earning £375,000 per week. They are telling him, you cannot earn that anymore, you're not good enough for that. But he was not exactly open on whether to take a pay cut or not. There were reports that he could be going to Saudi Arabia, but it was also immediately reported that he said he would, rebuff such an interest immediately at the first time of asking, because he wants to stay at least for a year or two playing at Manchester United. But if that is going to happen, he has got to accept the terms given to him in terms of pay cut, but also knowing that he's no longer going to be guaranteed the starting position in Manchester United. So that's the situation. So Ten Hag has been clear. He wants to sort that. Diogo Costa is the front runner for that position. Of course, people are now starting to mention Onana because of the good game he had, but United has never been linked to Onana. They were linked to Vart Bruggen. They were linked to Diogo Costa and to the Borussia Dortmund goalkeeper, that is Gobel. But the front runner, and most likely more than 80%, he's going to be joining United. It is none other than Diogo Costa, the 23-year-old Portuguese who is currently playing in FC Porto. That's a one department. The second department, Erik ten Hag was clear he wanted to sort, was the defensive department, where he said he wanted to buy at least two center backs, or a center back and a right back. Now the front runner for that has been Kim Min-jae, that is the South Korean who plays for Napoli, and apparently he said his goodbyes to Napoli because Man United made it clear recently and official that they are interested in the player. They had sent scouts for a long time to monitor him, and indeed they do want to sign him. He's priced at about £45 million, but it was said that Napoli were trying to tie him down to a contract extension to try and milk more money from whoever would want to sign him. He was the reigning best defender in the Italian Serie A, and he's, I think, the hottest defender right now in the world. I believe he would be a good addition. Reminds me of Jaap Stam when he joined Man United, that is from PSV Eindhoven way back in 1998. I think Kim Min-jae would come in exactly that, and would proper fit in the shoes, of course the small shoes I would say, of the captain Harry Maguire. So Kim Min-jae is again one United is interested in, but United has also been linked to the French international who played 3 games at the World Cup. That is his name is Axel Disasi. Axel Disasi, a right back. He's 25 years of age. He scored 3 goals and assisted 3 times in the French Ligue 1 in the last season, playing for AS Monaco. That shows you that he gives something going forward. So he's another interesting player that United has been looking at, and they will be hoping they can sign him. He's also priced at about 30 to 40 million pounds. That's again not too much money, more so in this day and age in terms of transfers. So he's one player that Manchester United are closely looking at and considering signing. So that's another depart. The beauty with Disasi, by the way, is that he can play both as a central defender and as a right back. So his industriousness is something that would come in handy for Manchester United. You want to have such a player in your squad. It increases a bit of depth in your squad, even if you have lesser players. If you have a player, the way United used to play with Sir Alex Ferguson, used to have John O'Shea and a couple of those players who would play more than one position, it gives you depth, which is not depth from many players, but from the same players, having a player who can play 1 or 2 more positions. So That's Axel Disasi, the French international. United has also been linked to, and that is the latest one coming through, to Randall Kolo Muani, who is a striker with Eintracht Frankfurt, and he's priced at about 65 million euros. People liken him to Thierry Henry. He's being seen as the next Thierry Henry. But the sad bit about Kolo Muani is that recently, Wilfred Zaha, the legend of Manchester United, was talking about him, and he said he doesn't see him, whereas he's a good player, he doesn't see him as the solution to Man United's goal problems. He feels that United need a proven finisher, and he's not exactly that, because I told you that this boy Moani, 25 years of age, plays for Frankfurt. He scored about 25 goals last season for Frankfurt, and he's a player who is wanted by many clubs, including Bayern and PSG now. But he plays a bit. People liken him to the great Thierry Henry in terms of his style. If you've watched him play, if you haven't watched his videos, you can look them up. If you've watched him play, he plays a little like Thierry Henry, and Thierry Henry was a headache for any team he faced because of how he was good with the ball, but he could be able to come and pick the ball even from his own half and initiate a counter by himself and dip and past everyone and go up to goal and score. So I think any player likened with him is a potentially good player, more so if you're 24. You'll be turning 25 soon. So he's a young player. So I believe he would be a good addition to Manchester United. And he's certainly one player they are seriously considering looking at. But all that and whether they will sign him will depend so much on how much money they have. But of course, Rasmus Højlund is the other, who is another cheap option. I think that would be an easy buy for Manchester United. I'm not sure if United would want to first concentrate on the easy buys now or the harder ones. But I believe they have got to make some signings to set the tone, but also bring some bit of confidence into the fans and everyone behind them. They're also interested in Mason Mount. The issue with Mount was the price. Chelsea were pricing him at about 70 million pounds or so, between 70 and 80. Man United were saying we are not paying anything more than 50 million pounds for Mason Mount. But also this they were saying without saying, if you know what I mean, because the ownership issue, there is no clarity on how much money United will have. So even when they know which thing about them, because there was no assurance. That's why right now that the news is out of when the announcement of ownership will be made, when that issue is put to bed, settled it over and done with, it will be certainly a good thing, a good relief for Erik ten Hag, and we will start now concentrating on they have been smart ever since their late father came through. They had a strategy of milking money out of the club, which they successfully executed, from buying the club using its own assets, borrowing money, and using its own assets as collateral, to how they quickly, from 2003 when they were having 3.17% of shares, to 2005, 2 years owning 98% of the club, and how they delisted the club from the stock exchange, and how they changed everything. Sir Alex Ferguson retires in 2013, and then they bring in Ed Woodward, someone who was clueless about football. All he knew about was business, and indeed he grew the business, because the revenue of United in 5 years between 2015 and I think between in a space of 4 years, the revenue of United grew from about 448 million pounds to about 117 million pounds, which was good. Came in Chevrolet and the likes. The football was dying. United was wasting money on flops. So the Glazers have never cared about the football. That's why this development, for us who care about the football, we the fans can only be happy about this, because at least finally we are taking a step in the right direction to reclaim the club that the Glazers had run into ruins. Terrible stuff. So they certainly should be out, but they don't want to leave so easy. They want to leave with a proper, complete rip-off. They want to extort as much money as they can from the next buyer or from the next owner of the club. And in this case, the whole world is praying. That is, the whole world that supports Man United is praying that it will be Sheikh Jassim. Well, the rest of the naysayers will be hoping it doesn't happen, that maybe somehow things change and the Glazers stay, or maybe Sir Jim Ratcliffe takes over, and of course with his bid that, looks to keep the Glazers around with about 20% shares and phase them out after 3 years. Some naysayers would want that to happen, but the Manchester United faithful will be praying that the bid from Sheikh Jassim is the one that is announced before the start of the opening of the transfers. So it's going to be an interesting, again, situation that we are following closely here on the hotspot. And thank you guys, thank you for subscribing. Thank you, of course, all of you for your comments. And of course, there are some gentlemen who are complaining about the audio. You can give me feedback as well, whether the audio and sound is okay now, whether it's perfect, but we will get better. Let's focus more on the club, this beautiful club Manchester United that we all love, and what's happening to it. Well, big news coming through concerning the club. Transfers are being said, and probably I think the best thing that might come out of the announcement, if it is made before the start of the transfers, I think it would be the possibility of Manchester United now going back and knocking on the door of Daniel Levy and trying to inquire more about the captain of Tottenham Hotspur, that is Harry Kane. I think that would be another good thing, because now if you have the man and you know who the owners are, money is coming through from Sheikh Jassim, certainly United would boldly go and want to sign Harry Kane. That would be, I think, a great thing. Well, the issue with Kane seeming to be hungry to push through a move out of Tottenham Hotspur, because by now he would have put in his transfer request. But maybe as well, like I said, he's also monitoring the situation at Manchester United, because I told you he would have preferred to stay in England and break the record set in terms by Alan Shearer as the all-time goal scorer, because he's the only one ahead of him. So certainly he would have wanted to stay in England, in a team that would perhaps try to give him trophies, and perhaps sees that as United a lot more than Spurs. Even if Real Madrid are interested, I think Harry Kane would prefer staying in England, where he's tried and tested and proven and stuff. But I do think it's all going to depend on whether the money is there. So if the announcement is made and the new owners are known and it is Sheikh Jassim, certainly it is going to be an easy window for Manchester. There will be time. The window is starting on the 14th, so there will be time for Manchester United to go on and do their thing. So it's interesting update that has just come in. Donald Best Matambura saying, "Sell Manchester United, please." Please, to add to your voice and that of many. Thank you for that comment. Well, Manchester United should be sold. That is surely what should be happening. That is what should be happening. United should be sold, and to the right buyer. Who is that? I think in unison we will agree it is Sheikh Jassim, the man, the billionaire from the Qatar royal family, the family that is worth £275 billion, the family that runs Qatar. Certainly, that's the family you want to come and compete with Manchester City, or else with Sheikh Mansour at Man City, with these new Saudi owners at Newcastle, with Liverpool reorganizing, with Chelsea getting the American Todd Boy, and now getting that coach that is Mauricio Pochettino. United, if they don't work on their house, if we do not work on our house early, we will be, I think, left behind, lagging way behind. So it's very important, so important that this comes out over and done with, and it is cleared. John Miller is also there saying whatever ever happened to a pie and a Bovril. Interesting there from John Miller. Well, that is what is happening. Hot news that has come through. We'll be continuing to follow this conversation concerning Manchester United and its takeover. Let me see just one more time if there is more coming through. The Rain Group are set to deliver the news, the verdicts, the final decision made by the Glazers. This is reported by the Manchester Evening News, that is reporting that both Sheikh Jassim and Sir Ratcliffe have been vowing to take over Manchester United, and a financial decision could be made very soon. This is the latest coming in. A final decision on the takeover is set to be made later this week. A final decision is set to be made. This is after months of speculation. Remember, the proper official announcement was made in November, but up to today, we haven't seen any significant progress, or at least update coming through from the sellers, that is the Glazers. Yet the battle has been clear, and the bidding has been going on. Kwabena Adade saying, any timeline on when the owner will be announced? Well, the owner will be announced before the opening of the window, which will be on the 14th. That is on Wednesday. The owner is going to be announced before the opening of the transfer window. That is when they're going to announce the owner. So that's the latest updates. That's why I'm reminding you to do subscribe if you haven't. Do set your notification button, because like I said, this is a story we are going to be on top of. We are not going to lag behind in this story. You want to be the first to know, and certainly the celebrations should begin immediately. We will be beginning to celebrate immediately when the official announcement is made. So Luyando Makonka is saying, I just want my team to be sold to Jasim. Yes, Luyando, like all of us, I believe, except the naysayers, the non-United supporters, I think most of us would want it to be sold to Jasim. Thank you so much for that comment. Thank you, Kwebena Adade, who is asking about the timeline. And I was saying that it should be happening before the 14th, when the official transfer window does open. That's when we will be getting the official announcement. But it is said that in the past 2 days, between Wednesday when the final bid was tabled by Sheikh Jassim, the Rain Group and the Glazers have been focused on Sheikh Jassim's bid, because it is giving... Guys, this is just simple logic. What the Glazers want right now is money. They want more money. The highest bidder wins. And who is the higher bidder? It's Sheikh Jassim. So they are only playing ping pong. They also know they have to sell to Sheikh Jassim. And by the way, they're at a point of no turning back. There is no way they can turn back from selling the club now. I think Old Trafford could be stormed and attacked, and I don't want I don't want to sound like I would be inciting violence, but Old Trafford would be shaken down if they turned their back and said they were not selling. I think something bad would happen. They would know the power and the wrath of supporters. So I believe they are going to sell, and if they are to sell, they want money. They will sell to the highest bidder. That is why they were extorting money from the club. From 2015 to 2020, they extorted £90 million from Manchester United, yet the club is in debt. Each year, the interest rate was increasing by 60 million pounds. So for them, it's been about money. And that's why even now, when they are leaving on the same front they came, about money. They are saying they are holding out for Sheikh Jassim to meet their valuation. Their rip-off valuation of the club of £6 billion, which is okay, because like I said, I strongly believe if there is one person in the world who can afford to buy that club at whichever money they want, it is those Qataris and the royal family. So they will pay that money, and it will be good riddance. Let them go in peace. And AJ is saying, what striker do you want? For me, personally, if we get money from Sheikh Jassim, I think we should be going not for Harry Kane, but for Victor Osimhen. We should be going to Napoli's door. The beauty is that already we are in talks with them. We are in contact with them over Kim Min-jae. I think for the right price, I believe they can go on and sell Victor Osimhen. And I think Osimhen at 24 would want to play in the Premier League. He would want to emulate his childhood, idol. That is Paul Pogba. Not Paul Pogba. That is, Didier Drogba, rather. So he would want to emulate him. So I think the Premier League is where he would want to be. So for me, if the striker United should sign right now is not a striker who is going to appear to fix things immediately, but after 1 or 2 seasons is out and they are looking for another. They are in the market looking for another. No. And that would be Harry Kane. Harry Kane would certainly score goals for United. He's a better complete striker altogether, proven in the Premier League, 3-time Golden Boot winner, and what have you, captain of England. He has his heavy profile, but he's 30, guys. He's 30. At 30, for a striker, you have 1 or 2 seasons left in your career. As a striker at 30, you have 1 or 2 seasons left. Yes, he would come next season and he would score goals. Maybe United would compete and, try to put pressure on Man City and these are the teams that would be competing. But that would be a short-term solution. United needs a world-class striker right now who is going to sort things for some good time and bring stability. That is a striker who is world-class and young. That striker, there are only two right now, world-class young striker. It is Erling Haaland at Manchester City and Victor Osimhen, who is 24 at Napoli. So for me, if we got that Sheikh Jassim money, for me the first person I would want United to go for is, of course, there are two. Diogo Costa in goal, and up front, go for Victor Osimhen. Even if they only signed those two players in this window, for me, I think they would make it. Someone is asking, Luyando Mukonka is saying, don't you think Osman will flop in England? Well, guys, look, I honestly don't think Osimhen would fail in England. I think he's a good finisher. He's a good player. I think he has built a lot of confidence in terms of winning the Italian Serie A, because the reason why such a world-class striker would fail to play in a club in England or at Man United is because back then the pressure of playing at that club and the players around you would be so high. But right now, if Osimhen entered the dressing room at Manchester, at Old Trafford, or he came in training at Carrington, he would be the star. He would be, so it means he would come in with confidence. I don't see him failing because he has been tested. He has scored goals in the Champions League. He has been top scorer in the Serie A. He has been loved by a whole village of Napoli, and you know how the people from Naples do love. I think his confidence has grown in leaps and bounds because of what he has achieved with Napoli. So joining a club like Manchester United, I think he would come in with confidence, and that's all he would need, because the football is there. He's world class, he's known, he's industrious, he can run, he's too powerful, he can come for the ball. And I don't want us to discuss him, comparing him to Harry Kane. Harry Kane is a little slightly ahead of him because Harry Kane has been proven, tried and tested in the Premier League. But you can't prove Osimhen without seeing him play in the Premier League. I think he can shine in the Premier League. I think he can shine in this team, the Manchester United team that Ten Hag is trying to build. And I think he's young. Even if next season he doesn't score 25 goals, next season can be a season for him to grow. And at 25, the season after, or 26, he would be now a proper, complete world club striker. The way Wayne Rooney grew from Everton, and just a season or two later is when we saw the prime Wayne Rooney. I believe Osimhen would also grow like Osimhen would flop in England. I think he's a good player, and he would go on and shine. Then Naomi Wanjiku saying, Manchester United, well done. Luyando Mukonka is saying, kindly answer my first question concerning the United bid for Jassim. Do you think Jassim will increase the bid to convince the useless Glazers? Yes, I think Jassim, if it means him meeting their expectation of £6 billion, I think he will do it. And I think he can afford it. Whether these other clubs want the FA to investigate his source of funds and stuff, I have a video here. If you haven't watched it, go on and see the video and share it with these other clubs that are worried now, threatening and panting because they know Jassim is going to change things around at Old Trafford. But I think the money source is there. I told you it comes from the royal family of Qatar that is worth £927 billion. So £6 billion is nothing. And Qatar is so intent on running football. And what is running football if you don't have Manchester United? So for me, whichever way you look at it, this deal cannot fail because of an extra £1 billion that the Glazers want. They will pay it. They increased the bid from 4 billion to 5 billion. 1 more billion, I think Sheikh Jassim will pay it. He will find that money and they will pay it. So for me, I think right now we shouldn't care about whether the Glazers get what they want. All we should care about is that they live at whichever cost. And that cost, we all believe in the Qatarian, we trust. In Sheikh Jassim, we trust he can meet the 6 billion and they will live in peace. Or if not, if they stay, they will be forced to live in pieces. So whichever way you look at it, they either go or they go, if you know what I mean. But yeah, AJ, talking about Kolo Muani, yes, I told you about Kolo Muani and how United are planning to make a bid for him. That is the player, the striker from Eintracht Frankfurt. He's 25, he's French, and he is priced at about 65 million euros. That is his market value. But I think he's still a second option. But with the new development, they might pause a bit and wait and see the ownership issue. If they are getting money, the money coming in from the £6 billion, then they might go back to plan A. and go to Spurs or Napoli and try to sign Harry Kane or Victor Osimhen respectively. By the way, like I said, I would prefer Victor Osimhen to Kane, but not that if they signed Kane, if we signed Kane, I would be so mad. I think it's again a good addition. But if I were to choose between the two, Osimhen and Harry Kane, for me, I think I would choose Victor Osimhen because he's younger and he would give us more of a longer period of time. He's a longer term solution. Ryan Karani is saying Kai. Okay, Ryan Karani unangoa. Well, najua Kiswahili. He's speaking some Kiswahili here. I don't speak Kiswahili, brother. Ajay says Mina want Ken. Well, that is AJ rather. AJ wants Ken. Then there is Donald Best Mutambura. There is Omo Moses, there is Robinson Francis, so many comments dropping in. Thank you guys for bringing them, and of course I do remind you to subscribe as we do continue to follow this breaking story. I'm going to first leave it at that. I think to give you a proper wrap up of what has happened, the latest that has come in is that an announcement is going to be made this week about who the owners of an official announcement. It is believed that Sheikh Jassim's bid is in cruise control, and that's good news for Manchester United. United, in terms of transfers, latest they are looking at is planning to take a bid to Eintracht Frankfurt for Randal Kolo Muani, the French guy. He's a striker, he's a forward who is likened to Thierry Henry in terms of his style, but they have also been linked to Rasmus Højlund from Atalanta, who is a young striker as well, who looked at as one who is seen as a development striker. Then United, it's reported that Frankfurt would want to sign Victor Lindelof from Manchester United. They have been monitoring him. Probably, if Ten Hag wants to let go of him, he might add him on the bid to sign Randal Kolo Muani, depending on how serious they want the French guy. The French guy, Muani, by the way, is also wanted by Bayern and lately, most recently, by Paris Saint-Germain. So Harry Maguire does not want to leave. That's what he says. He says he wants to stay and fight for his place. The last option United would have would be to pay him and to force him to leave. You pay him to leave. People, you can be paid to leave, or they can pay to leave. You remember how Sheikh Fabregas paid £4 million to Arsenal to let him join Barcelona. So it can happen. So if that's what it means, I think Manchester United will do it to let go of the captain, Harry Maguire. Luyando Mukonka, how do you see this issue of our goalkeeper? Don't you think we have to look for the best goalkeeper? Because the gear courted us in the FA. I just spoke about it, Luyando. I said I think it is almost now 80 or 90% that Diogo Costa from FC Porto is going to join the club. De Gea is right now they're having talks with the club to finalize and see if they keep him around. It will depend on whether he accepts the terms. The club wants to keep him, but not as a preferred number one. They want to keep him as, you know, a second choice, or as one who is going to compete with someone for a first choice goalkeeper, and that someone is most likely going to be Diogo Costa, who is priced at 65 million euros. He's represented by Gestifute, the agency that represents Cristiano Ronaldo, bossed by the super agent that is George Mendes, who is known for selling players to Manchester United, at least in their past setups. So it's good news, good update, and we believe it could happen sooner rather than later. So that's on the goal if keeping situation. I think AJ is asking about Onana. Onana, I don't think he has been linked to Manchester United. He has been mostly linked to Chelsea, but we will see. Things can change. Like I told you, when money is in the bag, when you do have our money on the accounts, on the pocket, and we know how much is there to spend, I think the most important thing is we know the places we want to sort, and we know the kind of players that are available for us to sort those areas. So it is going to be easy for us to tick the boxes when we do get the money. But the money is coming. So that's about the transfers, and keep subscribing to the Hotspot as we do keep following the story. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for being a part of this live. And yes, Luyando Mukonka saying, please, Maguire must go. Well, interesting stuff. By the way, guys, you can look out for my last live video that I did post, just telling you about the big debate concerning the recent treble that was won by Manchester City, and what debates are going on. People trying to say that the Man City treble now surpasses what Sir Alex Ferguson did. I took some people to footballing school. It seems certain people concentrate on hating on United, but not the facts. The facts are in that video. If you do watch it, big debate, which one is the bigger treble. We took you back to 1999, 1998-99, and saw how Manchester United did it, how Sir Alex Ferguson did it. So you do want to watch that video. I think it will give you some good insights for you to win your debates around in your community, wherever you are. I'm sure these are conversations you will have with non-Man United supporters, trying to praise Pep Guardiola so much as if what he did beats what Sir Alex Ferguson did in 1998-1999. That video takes you back on how it was, how United came into that season, and how Sir Alex Ferguson elevated a bunch of players who were distorted to utopia, to achieving the biggest feat in the history of football. And no wonder he was knighted by the Prince of England, rather by the Queen of England, to become Sir Alex Ferguson. People will know why he's called Sir Alex Ferguson. So guys, do look out for that video. AJ is asking, when are you on next? Guys, I keep giving you content. I'm always here. All I do is monitor stories concerning Manchester United, call my contacts, try to reach out, try to look around for sources, and when any development comes up, trust you me, I will be on top of it. I will quickly come and update you about the situation. So I will not say exactly when next. I could be on again in the next 2 minutes after I leave, when there's a new update that comes up. So just turn on your notification button, just subscribe to the channel, and that way you will be able to get me and all the updates as they do come. Jamia Kalimbo saying, Man United, please, we need Osimhen from Napoli. I agree with you. I just spoke about it. You probably just joined. 100% I agree. If we are to choose the first player when we get the Sheikh Jassim money, the first player we need to sign for me would be Victor Osimhen, no matter the cost. I think Osimhen and Diogo Costa in goal. When we solve that, the rest we can look for cheaper players, even players like Rabiot who are free agents and players out on loan. But we need to sort. We need to sort. The biggest issue we need to sort has got to be the goalkeeping and the striking issue. This gentleman called Ruyando Makonka is asking, don't you have a WhatsApp group? Yes, I do have a WhatsApp group, and I'm going to share my number so that you can send me a WhatsApp and I'll add you to the group, or you can drop your number here in the comment section. You can contact me, and of course in that WhatsApp group we always keep conversing about sports and football, especially Manchester United. So yes, I do have a WhatsApp group that has been around since 2015, and certainly I would be glad to add you. I just like your news. Have the WhatsApp group, please. Thank you, Luyando Mukonka. And I'm going to do that. Please drop your number so that I add you to the group. I am going to drop mine in the comments. Let me actually do that right now, because I mean, it's about football, it's about conversations about the beautiful game, it's about us sharing what we love. So guys, thank you, subscribe, and let's keep praying and believing that the man above will finally see us get rid of these poachers, these thugs, these heartless, these greedy billionaires who have ruined our club from 2003 when they took over until today. But it is again a great thing to know that the transfer window is about to approach, and certainly a lot is going to happen when it comes to this window. Should we go ahead and get this money from Sheikh Jassim? So it's been an awesome update. I'm glad and blessed to know that you're here. You've enjoyed it. People are still coming on. I think I might stick around. Emmanuel Ogbu saying, is Man U finally sold? Yes, it's a question of when, not if. The announcement is going to be made of who is going to take it. So is it sold? Yes, but we are waiting for the announcement. I think the prayer should be now, who are they going to sell to? Is it Sheikh Jassim? But chances are 90% it is Sheikh Jassim, because it seems they have convinced him to meet their asking price, or they have come a little down, which is highly unlikely. They seem to be stubborn and greedy like that, stubborn in their greediness, in their greed. So I think it's a question of when, but let's wait for the announcement before the opening of the transfer window. That's this week. Eli Kanye CJ saying, how far with Qatari on the issue of Manchester United? Yes, that's what I've been talking about all through. Thank you for joining Eli Kanye CJ and Emmanuel Ogbu. Just to remind you to subscribe, because like I said, you want to be on top of this story, and I am going to be on top of it. That I promise you. I'm going to be here like I've been, giving you all the updates as they do come about transfers concerning Manchester United, but also the Glazers and when they will be officially out of the club. I am here to give you all that. So do subscribe and turn on the notification so that you don't miss an update. All I do is wake up to monitor Manchester United and what's happening and give it to you in real time. So someone was asking when next I'm going to be on. Turn on the notification, because anytime when there is an update, I will be here. Whether it's a transfer update, it's a speculation, it is imminent, I will be here to give it to you. So subscribe so that, and turn on the notification most importantly, so that you don't miss the update when it does come. Thank you. Jamia Kalimbo, AJ, Luyando Mukonka, then Emmanuel Ogbu, Eli Kanye CJ. Thank you so much, guys, for being on. Thank you so much. Naomi Wanjiku, thank you. Then I say Kwabena Adade, thank you guys. John Miller, thank you. Donald Bess Mutambura, thank you. But guys, I do want you so much to settle this debate wherever you are in your circles, the people you meet, settle the debate about the treble. We don't want these young fans of football. I don't want them to start, confusing people about this treble situation. Man United still has the biggest treble in the world of football because of how they won it. Watch the video. Watch the last live I did about the big debate. It's about 2 hours ago. It's in the previous lives that I did. Guys, watch it. Arm yourself with knowledge so that you have a weapon to fight all these naysayers, because the noisy Arsenal supporters, they are going to make noise. Can you imagine that Arsenal supporters right now are saying that the invisible their invisible record is better than a treble? So that's how wordy and noisy they are. So guys, we need to silence them so that they don't disrespect us. But most importantly, we've got to believe and know that by the 14th, that's on Wednesday when the transfer window officially opens, the Manchester United will have new owners who are going to redevelop Old Trafford, redevelop Carrington, redevelop the neighborhood, invest in recruitment of players, the owners who are going to clear our debt, owners who are going to give us a new fresh air, who are going to restart us, and those owners can only be from Qatar, and that is none other than Sheikh Jassim. So that's one thing we should be hoping for. Emmanuel Ogbu is saying, I swear I would love to join you next. Thank you. I've shared my number in the comment section. So there it is. I've shared my number in the comment section, guys. That's the number for our WhatsApp. If you do want to reach out to me on WhatsApp, that's the number right there. You can send a WhatsApp message. I will be adding you to the WhatsApp group that has so many people from all over the world, including Africa and the rest of the world. So it's an important group. It's all about football and Manchester United. We've hit 1,000 views as I speak now, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you for watching, for subscribing, but also for sharing this link, because it is a serious period in the future of the biggest football club in the world, and we collectively have got to keep on top. We keep up to pace and updated about the team. Thank you so much. And yes, Eli Kanye CJ, the number, if you read through the comments, it's there. If you read through the comments, you read back, it's there. I've shared it. Luyando Mukonka asked for to be added on the WhatsApp group, and the number is there. I've shared it. So please, Eli, you can as well read through the past comments and get the number. I can read it for you. I'll share it on the screen, I think, in my next video. Plus 256 784 750 280. That's the number where you can get me. But guys, it's a big update. It's a big development to the future of Manchester United. And I will tell you, if this goes through, if the Glazers sell the club to the right buyer, who is Sheikh Jassim, Manchester City will be sorted next season. They will run for their money. If in all the issues we have, we gave them a run for their money in the FA Cup final, but also almost got the Premier League title off them. How about if we have Sheikh Jassim and a new breath of life, better facilities and all that? Guess what? I think it would be a different scenario. I think Arsenal, first of all, Arsenal will be forgotten about. We would beat Arsenal by miles. We would go for Man City. Of course, it will take time to beat them, but we would. These Newcastles and stuff will go back where they belong. Spurs, I think, will continue to drop off the pace. Liverpool are reorganizing, but I'm sure they will be, again, playing third fiddle behind Man U and Manchester City. Let me tell you, this is the bid that is going to fully shift football to Manchester. Manchester City and Man U will be the teams to compete the way it was Arsenal and Manchester United in the past seasons during Sir Alex Ferguson and Arsene Wenger's era. It's going to be Erik ten Hag and his former colleague, that is Pep Guardiola. Guys, it's a good time. It's a beautiful time to be alive. Thank you so much for being a part of it. My name is Webb. I've got to leave it at this as I sip on some water. Thank you so much. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Share the links and go look through all the past videos, because each video I've posted about Manchester is about Manchester United and it is relevant. You do want to get all the updates. Most of your questions you're asking here have been answered in the past videos I've posted. So go look out for them. Thank you so much. My name is Webb. It's a big G bless. Thank you. 1,024 viewers we've had. Big milestone. I do appreciate it, and every one of you. Thank you for loving Manchester United. Thank you for loving the Red Devils. Thank you so much for loving me, and thank you so much. Let's keep growing. Let's keep enjoying the game. Let's keep building up to the season that is destined to be exciting, and let's keep our eyes tuned to the hotspot as we wait for the next update concerning Manchester United.